Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Blue Sword by Robin McKinley. So this is a fantasy book, and it is kind of a little bit of a classic, and I could tell this from the moment that I read it. I figured out later that it is considered a bit of a fantasy classic, but just reading the book, I could tell that this was a top-tier fantasy book. The story follows Harry, who has just moved from the homeland, which is kind of like Britain in this story, to a place called, I actually have no idea what the continent is called, but it's basically a desert continent. And she's kind of getting used to living there and realizing she enjoys it before she is kidnapped by the crazy king of the desert people, who it turns out has magic powers. And very interestingly, she might have a very interesting destiny with these magic crazy people. So as someone who lives in a desert, the setting in this book was probably one of my favorite parts. So I loved how Harry and her people kind of come from the homeland, which is kind of in the British imperialist tradition vein, and then they come to this place and Harry's feeling at home in a weird kind of way because it's kind of a weird and painful place, and then as she's kidnapped, she kind of gets to see the culture of the people who live in this desert and who make their home there, I guess. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Arabic culture, just in the way that they value horses. But I thought it was really fascinating the way that this isn't necessarily traditional castles and, I don't know, that kind of fantasy setting, but it was definitely a very beautiful setting, and I enjoyed that fresh perspective that didn't feel weird at the same time. The next thing I liked about this book was the style. So a lot of fantasy books can be on either side of kind of the, I don't know, I guess the middle in terms of the voice. There are a lot of books that like have really stuffy voices and they drew their sword and I don't know what. It kind of feels Old English, a little bit Lord of the Ringsy, except it usually is done really badly. And then there are books that kind of eschew that all together and just say, I'm going to use completely and utterly normal language. Brandon Sanderson is an author who does it like that. I enjoy it that way. But I thought that The Blue Sword fell really nicely in the middle. It kind of had an omniscient viewpoint that felt more like the Lord of the Rings kind of style fantasy and brought out those emotions, but it wasn't stuffy and it was fairly straightforward. So I thought that that was a really beautiful part of this book. As far as content warnings go, there's not really much in here, especially if you are a YA or adult reader. There is some mention of rape and stuff, but that is only because if it wasn't mentioned, it wouldn't make sense since there is a kidnapping. Nothing inappropriate happens, definitely not on screen, and there are some really sweet relationships in this book, which I enjoy. So really, this is a really clean book for basically anyone. All right, thank you guys for watching this review. So if you have been enjoying these videos, I actually have some bad news. In about a month, I'm going to go off to college for the first time, which is going to be awesome. And between college and moving and working on my own projects, I think that I'm not going to have time to continue to post YouTube videos. So this is going to be my last video, and it has been really fun and educational to make these videos. Maybe someday I'll make more, maybe not, but thank you guys for watching.